Hi y'all, it's that time again. New patterns have been released by the Big Five. They're available now online and soon they will be in stores. Now I don't know if you live near me, but in Atlanta it's still like 100 degrees outside with 110% humidity. So I can't even begin to think about sewing for fall. I'm still very deep in my summer sewing. I could sew a bikini right now if I wanted to. However, I know some of you live in different climates, and also some of you just like to sew a season ahead because that's probably what you really should do. I just like to only sew what I can wear tomorrow. Regardless, let's take a look at these fall 2024 patterns.
Burda says that this release is going to have trendy fall patterns for the entire family. So let's see if they're right. First up is 5761, which is a cargo trouser pant. This is definitely a beginner friendly pattern, and I don't know that I agree with the term cargo. So if we look at the line drawing, view A definitely looks like cargo pants with the drawstring hem at the leg as well as the patch pockets on the side. You'll also see that it has an elastic waist with inseam pockets as well and a drawstring. So that's giving me cargo vibes. View B really isn't. View B is just giving me a pull-on elastic pant vibe. And there are dozens, if not hundreds of that kind of pattern out there from the Big Five and others. And then view C is basically sort of a combo. You get the drawstring that you have from view A, but it lacks the cargo pockets and it's just a short view. So we can look at it here on the pattern envelope and see the three different views, which again, this is a beginner's pattern, so it's perfectly fine. They have it here in a lime green. Again, more of just a straight pull-on pant in this sort of like beige ecru kind of color. And then in the pink here, looks like it's more out of a French terry or a sweatshirt fleece for like that sporty athletic look. So, I mean, the good thing about a basic pattern like this is that the fabric choice, the color, the print choice, all really has the fabric type, right? Because like in this more athletic windbreaker fabric in the lime green, they're definitely very, very sporty. In this more, I don't know, some kind of knit, it looks more cozy and lounge. And then in this more like French terry or sweatshirt fleece, it definitely looks sportier. So like it just totally depends on your fabric and the coloring here. Again, if you're not familiar with Burda, they have different sizing here because they're more European, but it goes from a US 8 to a US 22, and then you have your information that you need here. It's saying viscose rayon jersey or velour fabric. I mean, I really think these pants can be sewn in almost any light to medium weight fabric, knit or woven. Another easy beginner pattern is 5762. These are leggings or like workout pants. So again, let's start with the line drawings. Views A and B are pants that have more of a flared leg like a yoga pant. View A has the wider band that you would expect to see in a yoga pant, as well as the addition of a side pocket perfect for your phone or headphones while you're working out at the gym, maybe your keys, if you're taking a run. View C is almost identical, minus the pocket, and it has a much lower waistband, more like traditional leggings. I much prefer view A because I like the more coverage at the waistband, and I like the addition of the pocket, obviously. And then view B is the biker shorts version of view A, complete with the pocket and the taller band here. So we can take a look at it on the models and see that you do have these details here. So this is the higher waistband, has more of that yoga look, as well as a leg pocket here in which she has her cell phone, which makes like perfect sense. And then here you have it in more of the biker length. Now these are going to be the longer inseam, not very short here. You can definitely do the color blocking like on here for this side panel and for the pocket. Always nice to do. You could really do that with any print. And this is going to be the shorter waistband out of this really god awful pattern here, fabric pattern there, but whatever. So very simple, very fun. Any knit pattern could work for this. All these seams make great for color blocking or pattern matching. Again, we're going to have a US 8 to 22. So if you're in the need for leggings, I think this would be a good pattern. I actually might grab this just because I like the shape of the yoke and the yoga waistband as well as the flared leg. And the only other one I think I have similar to this is that McCall's pattern from a couple of years ago with the crop top and the flared pants. But I don't think it has that cute side pocket. And of course I could just draft that, but I might go ahead and grab this Burda pattern. More easy sort of athleisure wear here. We have tops. These are t-shirts, and t-shirts are really easy to sew as soon as you get comfortable with sewing with knits, which I started with knits, so it's not that bad for me. And it's another fun one where you can do some color blocking. On the line drawings here, you can see that they have a center front seam, which again allows for that color blocking. Generous arms in view A. Seems like that's more of like a 3/4 length. You're going to have a short sleeve version in view B. And then view C has the cuffs and a tie front. So all of these are cute options. On the models, we can take a little bit a closer look at those lengths. So yeah, this is more of like a 3/4 sleeve, and that neckband does more of like a stand-up thing, which I'm not a huge fan of, but I don't hate, I guess. I would rather it lay flatter, but I could probably make that modification. Here you can see it colored blocked on view B with the short sleeves. So that could be like a little fun take on it. And then here it looks like it's in like a stretch velour. Again, the longer sleeve with the cuff. So now you have a full sleeve and the tie front. So yeah, very sporty. You can pair it with that previous pattern that was the leggings and be ready to go to your yoga class, out for a run, or to the grocery store like me if you ain't really going to the gym. This is also available from the 8 to the 22, which again, I think is really pretty standard for Burda. And this is lightweight sweatshirting, which I've never heard it put like that before, but basically a lighter weight sweatshirt fabric and maybe like a ponte or, something like that, a fleece, a French terry. You could probably do this in as well. 5764 is probably the first pattern where they're starting to lose me. Like the other three have been pretty basic and entry level, but great for beginners, great starter patterns, very good sort of staple patterns, especially if you're into, being athletic or looking like you are. I 100% get this one. We're gonna start with the images here. They definitely are trying to make it a workout vibe, but I don't know why I want to work out with what looks to be like a Sherpa vest. Again, y'all know how I feel about vests. Then y'all gonna add furriness to it. Let me keep going. This makes a little bit more sense, but again, don't 100% get vest, but they've done it out this like quilted fabric, and at least it's like a longer length, I guess. And then this one in this holographic 80s throwback episode where the Golden Girls go to get in shape. Anyway, I don't know what this is. It has to stand up more like mock collar here. Again, it might just be because I don't like vest, y'all, and these fabrics are horrific. That might be more of my problem. I don't know. But they're very boxy shaped. I don't really see the point. I don't know why I need this. But if you do, no judgment. 8 to 22, really any fabric could work for this. Literally any fabric, because you just gonna zip it up and it's basically just a square. It's like 2 or 3 pieces. So there you go. Do with that what you want. Still easy, still athleisure. We have tops. These are going to be workout tops. Anything from like just a strappy tank, as you have here in view A, to a 2-strap tank you have in view C, and then view B is a strappy sports bra. I mean, you could always use a tank or a sports bra pattern, so I'm not mad with this. I do like the strappy look. It looks very much like, what's in athleisure right now. Like you would find something like this on Fenty, on Old Navy, on Fabletics, on Yitty, on all the things, the strappy back. So hard to get on, really cute to wear. You see it here in sort of, actually this does not look like a sports bra. This is more of like a cami. I would actually want to shorten this and make it more of a sports bra, but anyway. And then here you have more of a tank. Oh, where's the back of that one? Let's get to it. where you have a wider strap. So I like that. Seems like it would be a little bit more supportive. I would also do this top for like a pajama top. That would be great. So let's see. This is also going to be an 8 to a 22. It just needs a two-way stretch, something that has stretch in both directions. And this is definitely something that I could see, anybody making. All right, we are out of athleisure and a little bit more into everyday clothing. Well, I don't know. Athleisure may be more everyday than a dress for a lot of people. So we have 5767, which is this dress pattern with two views. I actually really like this print. It's more of a plaid, but it gives me houndstooth vibes because of the diagonal, and it's just a lot of colors going on. I like a busy print sometimes. Anyway, that's not the point. We're talking about the pattern. You can't actually see the details of the pattern here, so we're going to look at the line drawing, but you're going to have like a wrap front, sort of a collar, and then you're going to have a pleated skirt. I think you can see it a little bit better. Yes, in the pink, this looks like a taffeta. There's a little bit of shine. You're going to have a wrap front, a collar stand, long sleeves, and this one has just a straight skirt. You can see that there's some details here, top stitching in the waistband. Now, they give you a lot of views with Burda, which I actually like, but I'm not gonna spend too much time on them. This one only comes in a 10 to a 22 and has to have the 55-inch or the wider fabric. I told you, taffeta. Cotton fabrics, blends, poplin, taffeta. Again, any lightweight woven, I feel like will work for this, but you can see here on view A, those pleats that I spoke about that you can't really see on the pattern because it's so busy. But this one does have pleats and then the cuffs, whereas the view B is going to be shorter, doesn't have the collar, just the stand, and then no cuffs. So those are the differences between view A and view B. I actually like this dress. I don't need it because I have a lot of other dress patterns, and there's nothing about this one that really stands out to me. But this is a good dress pattern. I like that it gives you two lengths and two pretty different looks with the pleating and the not pleating here. So yeah, this would be a good one. I could see this for a work dress, or if you use the right fabric, maybe not that taffeta, but like a dressier fabric, I could see this being almost a semi-formal dress or like a go to church dress as well. Burda even gives us a men's pattern. So this is 5768. It gives us like a shacket kind of vibe. You can see on the two guys that they have on the cover here that they've used like a plaid, right? Looks very shackety. This one has a hood, and then the other view has a collar. They both have button ups, or I guess they could be snaps if you wanted them to be closure. So a pretty simple shape, but I just love when the men get patterns. This one does have, of course, a pleat in the back for some room as a shacket would. Like I said, the only differences here are collar versus hood. And for the men's pattern, we are looking at a 38 US to a 48. So I believe that's a little bit narrower size range than we usually have on the big five patterns. But again, Burda sort of does their own thing. Burda 5775 is a blouse pattern that's not really for me, but I do like the way that it looks on the model. So it has a really deep sleeve here. So it almost has like a dolman sleeve with gathers on view A, as well as like bust darts and a very simple button down front here. You don't really have a placket. It's just like a fold over. And then you have a two button cuff as well. Now, view B is very similar, except for the buttons are hidden. And instead of a two button cuff, you have more of a one button cuff that sort of looks a little bit more like a band and has more of a shirt tail hem. This one also has the collar and not just the collar stand. Now, I started off by saying I don't really like this pattern, but I can't say that I hate the way that it looks on the model. Like, it looks good. I'm just not a huge fan of the drop shoulder kind of shirts. I make them and I do wear them. They're just not my favorite thing, so I don't need any more of those types of patterns. I really just like the prints of these, I think, more than anything, sort of like the animal print. And y'all know I'm a sucker for black and white. So it's definitely a good look, very work appropriate, I would say, comfortable and cozy because you won't have to feel real like tight and buttoned up with the looser sort of fit here. And this is available in a 10 to a 22. I would say any lightweight woven. I would probably lean to something more drapey, like the viscose rayon that is saying, versus like a cotton fabric. You could also do silk, a challis, a crepe, any fabric like that. I think would be good for this pattern. This would be a good staple piece. If you need some blouses for whatever reason, I would probably go for view B because I like the buttons hidden. Um, and I would probably go for the single collar, the smaller cuff. That's just me. Burda 5777 is interesting and basic at the same time, if that makes sense. If you look at the line drawing here, it's just a basic fit and flare kind of dress, except for it's a v-neck. And the sleeves are a little bit more angled. Not angled enough, I think, to be considered raglan, but more angled than like a set-in sleeve, if that makes sense. You also have just a very classic zip-up center back seam here and darts at the waist on both the bodice and the skirt. You have the option with the long sleeves to do a 3-button cuff like on view A or a gathered elastic hem like view B. You also have the self belt. I think that's stitched into the sides here for view A or like an elasticized belt of view B. Let's take a look at these differences on the models. So yeah, they use a very busy plaid fabric again here, definitely in fall colors. And I can't say that I don't like the dress, and I feel like I should have a dress like this already in my pattern catalog, but I'm not sure that I do because I feel like dresses like this typically have a jewel neck or a round neck or maybe a bantu neck, but not necessarily a V-neck, and I do like V-neck. So this is the elastic at the hem. Oh, sorry, I'm always talking and flipping. The elastic at the sleeve hem. You can also see here where the ties come in, so that adds a little bit of interest too as well. I actually thought that it would be too busy in the print, but I sort of like it. And then here is that elastic belt on view B. So yeah, I like this pattern. I don't know that I need it. It again is going to be in a 10 to a 20. Don't know why this one didn't get a 22, which probably answers my question. I won't be getting it. But it comes in, or it suggests crepe, rayon, silk. Again, any lightweight drapey woven would work good for this. Just keep in consideration your climate. I like this pattern. I don't know that I love it, and it doesn't look like it's going to come in my size. I don't think I can fit a 22. I'd have to look at their size chart one more time. So I won't be getting it, but I could see why I would. I do not see why I would grab 5780. Let's look at it on the pattern first here. You're just going to have a very basic, loosey kind of top. Drop shoulder, full sleeves, either gathered at the wrist or just wide open, and this sort of like V front that flaps open, which made me think about like not a quarter zip because it doesn't zip, but more like a sporty type shirt. Then what they have here is looking very dressy, and I don't get it. I mean, I guess it looks very comfortable in the fact that it's not very structured and it's super flowy. Um, but I don't like it. Mostly because I don't like drop shoulder. I've already said that. But yeah, I don't really get the aesthetics of this one. This is also a 10 to 22, and any lightweight woven would work for this, but I would definitely pass on this one. But that's just me. The look of 5782 is something I feel like I've seen before, but I don't know if I've seen it in person or as a pattern. You're going to have this inverted pleat along like a center seam of this very cozy, oversized dress, which I think is really appropriate for the fall. Like if you made this in a flannel or a heavier ponte or like a sweatshirt fleece or a thick sweater knit, I could see this being very comfortable and very cozy to wear at the same time. I'm not a huge fan of this height of neckband, but it does look very comfortable and sort of classic in a way. I don't really get it as much in the top version as I do the dress, but I mean, I guess essentially it's the same thing. I do like it paired here with like the knee-high boots. It's a way to be comfy and warm while still looking cute. I do love that plaid fabric. I just don't know how I feel about the shirt length. Anyway, this is also available in a 10 to a 22, and they suggest jersey knits. So like I said, I would probably stick with a heavier weight knit if I was really trying to lean into the fall look of it all. So a thicker sweater knit, a ponte knit, a French terry knit would maybe look a little bit more athleisure, but would be oh so cozy. Burda 5790 takes us sort of back to the beginning of the video where we were talking about athleisure lounge type wear. This wrap front bodice sweatshirt top gives you that similar look. You're going to have a turtleneck neckline here with the sort of like petal crisscross bottom hem here that does add a little bit of a different detail and would work for these cooler weather. You can see the differences here between the lighter weight and the heavier weight knits that are used to sew it. The lighter weight knits are a little bit more drapey, whereas this heavier weight knit shows up a little bit more structured. So that would be totally, how you feel and the fabric that you want to use. But these are definitely good cool weather options. This has a very high neck because that neck folds over as you saw in the pictures. This goes from an 8 to a 22, so a little bit larger sizing range. And again, you could do anything as light as a jersey, as thick as more of like a thicker sweatshirt material here. I do feel like there used to be a McCall's pattern, but it's probably out of print that had a very similar hemline to this one. So check your stash and make sure you don't have that one first. But if you don't, this could be good if you like that type of hemline on your top. We've got another one for the men. Burda 5791 is actually a pretty cute, like quarter zip pullover type sweatshirt. So you'll see it has the nice tall collar here to keep you warm. Also this little front pocket that's sort of useless, but also cute. Raglan sleeves. And this one fits sort of like at the hip. And then on the other view, you have more of like a polo button neck instead of a zip, and then you have in the side pockets that also have like a little snap or button for closure. So this gives the men some options. You can see here that this view A in this gray rib material sort of looks like a little bit more work casual, whereas this one definitely more looks like a weekend vibe. So options here, fabric of course always plays a really big role. And for the men, this goes from a US 36 to a 46 and is calling for a fabric that has a little bit of stretch. So like a sweatshirting, a jersey, or like a fleece. Here, if you look at the line drawings, you can see a little bit more of the details where view B has the pockets as well as the hemband and the sleeve bands, and then it has buttons or snaps over the zipper of view A. So I actually like both of these views, and I'm happy that they're giving the men some options. Burda is calling 5792 a real statement piece. Now, I don't know that I 100% agree with that, but I do sort of like this dress. On the line drawings, you can see that you're going to have a midi length dress with sort of like a tunnel neck, like a little funnel neck, not quite high, not quite low, with the zip detail in the front. And then you are going to have these interesting place darts. I don't know that I've sewn a midi dress that has the darts that go in this direction. So I would be interested to see like what that does as far as the fit. But other than that, you're also going to have a back center seam and two fisheye darts in the back. So this is going to be more of like a semi-fitted mini dress, or you could opt for the top length of view B. On the model, you can see that the midi dress is not very fitted. Again, just semi-fitted. She has it layered here over a turtleneck. Again, not sure that I would do that unless your climate was really chilly and you needed the extra warmth, but it's definitely something that could be done. And then you can see it here on the top in a lighter weight fabric, which is actually tucked into the pants. So I actually sort of like this silhouette. I think that it is interesting. I, of course, love anything in a buffalo plaid, so that's super cute. I like the neckline. I don't typically like necklines like that high and that tight, but there's something about it that this is very mod feeling to me, like a little 50s, little Mad Men. I don't know. And I could actually see it working for the top as well. I might would lengthen these sleeves even longer and add like the thumb holes because that would make it look a little bit more sporty to me. So yeah, I think that this is a pattern that would work. Of course, you would need a knit fabric for this, and this is available from a 10 to a 20. So I definitely won't be getting this one because unless these sizes are bigger than I think, I don't know that I can squeeze into a size 20. But cute nonetheless for those who may be able to fit it. Burda 5796 is a super simple pattern. Like they call it right on the front of the pattern super easy because it is. There's only like 3 pieces here, maybe 2. No, got to be 3, front, back, and sleeve. Um, but it says a lot while being really simple. So if you can draft a pattern, you probably don't need this. But if you're like me and you're often too lazy to do that, this would just be a good, easy place to start. We can see in the dress view that it has this wide bantu neck, this really loose, but not super oversized fit, as well as these elastic wrists. So they call it like casual comfy, and I would 100% agree with that. It's something that you can slip on and run out of the house, but also look pulled together. You could say the same thing for the top, even though here they have it in a fur. Sewing fur is like the devil to me, but at least in a pattern that's this simple, that has so few pieces and so few seams to sew, I could see it being a possibility. And this gives it like a dressy vibe. So I would say that would apply to not just fur, but to sequins or sherpa or any other air quote difficult to sew fabric. And here again, you can see how it sort of pulls everything together, but it's still easy breezy. Put it on with like a knee-high boot and a cute little purse. This is paired with like leather pants and you're ready to go out for the night. So it's a super simple pattern, but actually packs a lot of punch. This one is, of course, also only, oh no, this one goes from an 18 to a 28. So I guess this is Burda's version of plus size. Basically, it's saying any knits. Sweatshirting for casual, lightweight knit for easy breezy, a jersey, you could do a rib knit, again, sequence, fur, fleece, any of the things. Really anything, because this is, going to be pretty loose. So anything can really work here. This is one of those patterns that would be great to hack into other patterns as well. What this actually sort of reminds me of is Veronica's Nomi pattern, which is also a great pattern to whip together and throw on really quickly. I made it last fall in like a French terry and a sequin sleeve. So super fun. They have different necklines because hers is a V. This is more of like a bantu, and then hers are more raglan sleeves, and these are more like set in sleeves, but close enough. 5797 is another plus size dress or curvy women's dress that is pretty simple. This one might be too simple for me. I mean, it's really not simpler than the pattern before, but you'll see what I mean. So you can see here, they also call it, see, this one is called average, whereas I still think it's pretty simple, at least in the design. Okay, so you can see on view A, they use this animal print. There's an interesting hemline here, but you're just going to have a scoop neck, sort of big sleeves, and a fit and flare kind of shape. Same thing for view B, but they add this color contrasting here. I don't think I like it on the hem of the skirt. I sort of like it on the sleeve. I don't know how that makes sense, but I would probably leave the bottom band off. Actually, I don't know. Maybe I would shorten it. I don't know. I like that it's on the sleeve, but there's something about it on the hem that I don't like as much. It might be just the overall length of the dress. Either way, these are your options that you have here. The dress itself, when we look at the line drawings, you'll see, well, we can look at it here on the back of the pattern, are fairly simple, right? It's just like a princess seamed dress with little slits at the bottom if you're going to do it without the hemband. View B with the hemband, which is actually a shorter dress, has the band here instead of the slit. So, but I do find it interesting how they split the sleeve. That feature I actually like for some reason. They are calling for a crepe, viscose rayon or silk. So again, light to midweight wovens. This is going to be from 18 to a 28. So this is a nice, just basic dress pattern, but not something that's going to wow me to go to the store. I got really excited about 57.98 for a second until I read the misses and realized that we were already out of the curvy size women's dresses, but it's still a cute pattern. We're going to start with the line drawings on this one. We are going to look here at views A and B. Now, here's what I like. I like this fit in like fitted bodice fitted skirt. Very cute, very office, a little retro, a little 50s to me. Again, look at all the darts. You have 3 little pleats at the waistband for some added detail, as well as bust darts, waist darts, back darts, neckline darts, sleeve darts. Like this is going to be a fitted dress. I would actually probably make this out of a woven that had a little bit of stretch, like a stretch sateen, stretch gabardine, stretch suiting, or a knit, like a very stable ponte knit. But anyway, very cute. You see view B is very similar, except for the dress is more of an A-line, and it adds the pussy bow, which I'm 50-50 on pussy bows. And then it has the gathered sleeve into a 3-button cuff, which I also like. Let's look at the details on the ladies so we can see how we feel about it. This is a very over-the-top print. It's also a pretty lightweight, maybe rayon or satin or something with the print here. It drapes nicely. You can sort of see the little detail of the 3 little pleats in the skirt. I can't see it so much in the bodice. And here they tried to make it look a little bit more casual, although this looks more like a shirting or some type of cotton. You can see here in the sleeves that the fabric has a little bit more body to it. And you can see the bow here. How it's not droopy, it stands up. But yeah, I like it. This is more like a menswear sort of take on it with the stripes, which confirms my shirting theory. So yeah, it's a nice dress. I like it. It's also got the V-neck detail on the pussy bow that I feel like you don't see as much in woven dresses, often in knits, but not so much in wovens. And basically this is saying cotton fabrics, rayons, and blends. And this is available from a 10 to a 22. So overall, I do really like this dress. I don't know that I can fit into Burda's 22. So I'll have to check that before I go any further, but it's a nice dress. 57.99 is a jacket, and you can see here on the pattern envelope they give it 2 very different looks. In this first fabric on the pattern in view B, it's more dressy, like a suiting jacket, like a work jacket. Over here in view A, it's very casual, very much like I'm about to go hunting or on a hike. That's the quilted denim really coming out to sort of give it that vibe. So yeah, you can see here on view A that it is a shacket, essentially like a jacket. We have patch pockets with flaps on the front, snaps for the closures, a collar stand and a collar, as well as a long sleeve with looks like a little belt at the sleeve hem. So this is using 2 different type of fabrics. This looks like a quilted, well, maybe not denim, but a quilted something, and then like a wool or a flannel fabric here on the outside, whereas you can see view B is some kind of quilted textured kind of fabric instead, so it looks a little bit more business. And this one has buttons with buttonholes, and if these are real pockets, they're welt pockets with the flap. I'm not really sure. They might just be the flap with the illusion of a pocket. So yeah, this gives you 2 very different looks, and Burda is really good about that. They're really good about giving you these different views and these different photos to let you see the differences in the patterns, especially on the model. Like you caught right there on view B, there's this cinch belt in the back with the button detail as well that you don't get on view B. So this is from 10 to a 20. And it says functional fabrics. I don't really know what, let's go. It says functional fabrics. I don't really know what that means, but sure. Quilted fabrics, wools, jacquard. So that was a jacquard. And then the sleeves were wool. Looked like either wool or a decent flannel. Anyway, you have some options here, and I just like how they give you different ways to consider and look at a pattern right there on the pattern envelope. You gotta love Burda's descriptions. Here they tell you that this is an Italian chic women's trouser. I don't know that I 100% agree with that. You can see here on the line drawings for view A, It's basically just an elastic waist pant with inseam pockets, a wide leg. Like that's pretty much it. I'm trying to see if this is a faux button and fly because it does say elasticized waistband, but you could have elastic and a button. I don't know. We'll see in a second. And then view B and view C don't look chic at all to me. They look very much more cargo. I'm assuming that this bottom flap isn't an actual pocket, but maybe it is. The top ones are because they have like this lanyard for the zipper. So I would hope those are real pockets. But let's look at them on the models here. And yeah, there's nothing about this that says chic. It says more utility to me. But I do like the entrance of like oh, maybe these aren't zipper tabs. Maybe these are just like, they're just like cargo tabs. Well, that's interesting. I don't mind that. And then you have the inseam pocket. So definitely no shortage of pockets here. Here is it in a more structured fabric. So less drape, a little bit stiffer. Ooh, that's a busy print. Yeah, I don't know. There's nothing wrong with these, but they're just pretty much pull on. Can we tell if that fly is real? Let's go back and look at that. They're just basically like pull on pants. Nothing wrong with that. Just nothing standing out about it. Let's see. I don't know. That might be a real button. What do you think? It's really hard to tell here if that's a real fly or like a faux fly detail. But either way, this is like a comfortable pant. I wouldn't call it chic. I do think that it's quite functional. I don't dislike them. They're available in a 10 to a 20, and again, any sort of woven fabric would work for this. It just depends on if you want the drapier look that you see here in the beige or a more structured look. And then you have length options. So, just options for you here on Burda's site. I do like how they show you all three views though. So I don't know that I would call Burda's release fashion forward or trendy per se, but I do think as usual they have a lot of good beginner patterns and basic staples that you can add to your wardrobes. I don't know that I'm grabbing all of these or many of these patterns, but I do think there are a couple I might pick up if I think about it. Those yoga pants were quite cute, 57, 62. And I also liked a couple of the more casual dresses as well. Although you all know as well as I do that I have too many dress patterns as it is. So let me know in the comments which patterns you plan on picking up, and we will discuss it right there. Until next time, happy sewing.